Shira Havron is a member of a very large family from Kibbutz Be'eri, many who have just been freed. We spoke with Shira about a month ago, and now many of her family members have been freed. How are you feeling, Shira?
It's good to talk to you in these circumstances that are definitely better than in the past. We feel better. I feel better. I think it's really amazing to see the family that we didn't have any connection with for 50 days here and safe with us in a relatively fine physical condition. And we really worked for this day. We wished for this day. Now it's here. Some are back. Most of them are back. But for a second, we can't forget that there are still Tal, my cousin's husband, over there, the father of the kids that need him, alongside, of course, almost 170 hostages that remains in Gaza today after the wave of these exchanges that have been going on for the past couple of days. And it's definitely a complicated situation. We can't celebrate yet. It's not complete. It's not done until everyone is back. But at least we have some back, and we have the children back, which is amazing. And I'm sure they've been through a lot, and we're together now. So
take a moment, and we're talking about a large extended family. We went through this initially when we spoke about a month ago, but I think it's important to talk about some of the relatives were murdered. You mentioned that Tal is still there in Gaza. I'd like you to go through a little bit of the extended family again so people know who you're talking about.
So again, our story on October 7th was that, first of all, 7 of my family members were taken hostage that day. Since then, about 3 days ago, 6 have returned. We're talking about the women and the children, my aunt Shoshan, my cousin Adi, her kids, Naven, Yehel, and my uncle's sister Sharon and her daughter Noam. As you said, Tal is still there, the father of the kids, alongside more than 150 hostages. The numbers are changing these days, fortunately. Besides that, there are some family members that we're not going to see. On that day, on Saturday, we lost 2 of my uncles, Shoshan's husband, Avshalom, and also Shoshan's little sister, Lilach, and my father's little sister, and her husband, Lilach's husband, Eviatar, alongside his caregiver, Paul, who was a Filipino man who had been a part of our family for many years. So those 4 people we're not gonna see again, and it's still very hard to navigate the situation, the emotions in it. We can't really stop working to bring back all the hostages and Tal, and we can't really mourn, and we have our family back, and obviously it's great, but now they have to tap into reality again and adjust and recover and heal, and obviously it will take time, and we'll be there for them for everything, but it's complicated.
Shira, I know there are things that you can share and things that you can't share, and I respect that completely. What's important now is people are trying to absorb the enormity of this, of what your family went through in terms of, we know things are out, in terms of they weren't fed well, they didn't sleep well. Can you share any of that component of what they went through?
I can't really say much because obviously there are authorities involved in investigation, etc. But my family came back, luckily, in relatively good physical condition, which means, we assume they ate and they could sleep and in the conditions they're in. But yeah, obviously it's another level of a trauma. But we're happy that they came back relatively healthy, because some didn't, and we know that, and we hear the stories, and it will continue to come. And
I'm really sorry for everything you've been through and still going through. And I know that the world is very, very concerned, because it's hard to know what's going to play out over the next few weeks, and very concerned particularly about the men. So when we talk about Tal being a husband and a father and a son still there, and so many men that have not been freed, what are you hearing? What are you hearing from the other families, from your family, about this issue in particular?
I think for us, we're lucky to receive some of our family members back, and we had so many over them. So some people have less, but anyway, we're happy to have some of our people back. We obviously hear a lot of stories about families that have been torn apart. Some stayed and some came back. We hear about separation between mothers and children, and fathers and children mainly. And I think nobody can really move on or feel completely safe, protected, and really come back to reality from this hell they've been through until they have their whole family with them, including the fathers and the mothers that are still there. Besides that, we obviously, in this past 53 days, we've been in touch with a lot of other families in the hostages families forum, etc. So we know the feelings of people that have their sons there as young men and young women that are still not their names are not in the deals at the moment, which breaks my heart, because everyone deserves to get their loved ones back, and it's not fair that that some people will get them because they're children and mothers, and some won't. They're all equal. They're all people. They all need to be back. So, and in addition to that, we continue to do interviews, we continue to tell stories, because it's important for us that the issue will remain on the agenda, and this momentum will help us to bring back more people. What's important is that the decision makers have to take this momentum to save more people, save everyone that can be saved. And the issue of the hostages has to stay as top priority, as the goal of this war. And after they're back, it can end, or I don't know, but it has to be equally important to bring everyone else back.
What's your biggest fear? I mean, there's a lot of politics at play. So if you had to look at what may play out now and nobody really knows, what's that fear?
We fear, of course, that they'll just be forgotten over there, just as we were scared for our family that came back, because time is passing. And as I said before, and it's still relevant, the time that is passing is not on our side and not on their side, mainly on the hostages side. There are people over there that are injured, that are sick, that need medication, and they don't have it. And we know the Red Cross haven't seen them. So the fear is that they'll be forgotten, that they'll die over there. The exchanges, they need to continue. We can't let them rot over there while politics and war controls us. Everyone has to cry with us and demand their return amid this crazy political situation in our region. And we know how complicated it is here. This situation, the hostages issue has to remain apolitical and still top priority for anyone who believes and supports human rights everywhere. It has to be very, very clear, and nothing has changed. We got our family back, some of it, not all of it. The family is not complete without Tal and all the others. And some families didn't receive anything in this past couple of days. And it can't be allowed, because we're all equal. Everyone has to have their loved ones back home. It's really that simple. And we can't let them stay there any longer.
Did your family know anything at all? Did they have an access at least to radio or TV? Did they know anything that was happening?
Besides the information they got on that 7th of October, the day, not really, not really.
So what was your initial
Definitely
feeling when you saw them?
I actually saw my aunt today. I haven't seen the kids yet, but my dad saw them. And it was amazing. It was like seeing a woman, from like a myth coming true in front of your eyes, because we haven't seen her in 50 days. She became, something, all of them that we fight for and we long for. And we didn't lose hope for a moment, but the days were so long and we anticipated it so much. So it was such a crazy feeling to see her in reality and hug her after everything she's been through, and after we've talked about her so much, and now to see her, to win her back, is just really incredible, beyond words, I think, beyond words. And it's really sad that she has to come back and, not only adjust to all of them, not only adjust to life again and deal with the gaps have created, that has created over these 50 days. They have to also mourn about, their aunt, their sister, my Lilach, and their husband or father, Absalom. It's coming back and discovering that the family has been, shattered. And we're strong people. We will get over it. We'll be together in it. But it's definitely an impossible situation. What's happening to us? It's so many things mixed together. It's like, yeah, we'll have to learn to slowly deal with everything.
Take a moment to talk about your aunt. Here is a woman, Shoshan, who is involved in building a nonprofit for feeding the poor, a world hunger program. And here she was held hostage, and we know many of the hostages were not fed well. And I can't imagine what she's thinking, hearing this, if she didn't experience it or she did experience it herself. But that's what went through my mind as well, of how do you come to terms with some of these things?
I can just say that when I saw her today, I saw and felt that this woman is so strong, and I don't think her beliefs will be shaken. I think she will stay the same person. Obviously you have to deal with the trauma and take care of mentally, for everyone. But I think this is exactly the story, against all odds, for since forever, I think, in her life. She's fought to build her life around her beliefs. And even the fact that she was so brutally, um, they hurt her so brutally, her and her loved ones, her family, her daughter, her grandchildren, her husband, her sister. This is, I think she will insist, as we all do, to stay ourselves, to keep our core values, and to continue the work that we do, because for humanity, for our family, for saving whoever we can save, and for peace, because nothing like this can happen again. We have to make sure that this is the last time anyone gets hurt. And I think this is why we're still who we are, because we always felt that this area, this region we live in, there has to be a solution, an arrangement. Peace became a very hard word for some people. But for peace, I think this is exactly the story of someone who's been treated so badly, but still insists to do good because this is the answer. And I'm sure we'll see her very, very soon in some country in Africa, going back to her life's mission, you know. Obviously, it will take time. We have to give her space and time, but I really believe that I'll see her and I'll see the rest of my family continue to be who they are.
You're a film student, and yet you have taken a hiatus now to take care of these very important things for your family. And you were in the EU, at the European Union, because some of the family have dual citizenships. Do you feel that that's been helpful? Do you feel going out and speaking to the politicians has made a difference?
I think so. I don't know what exactly helped practically and what just, you know, made someone feel something and do something like tell someone else the story and spread the word, you know. But I think after we got to see some of our family and to see the children, you know, alive and functioning, this past 50 days have gained meaning, in the sense that all the work and the hard work everyone in my family did, including, you know, myself. I went to the EU and to Germany, but everyone worked so hard in all the frontiers, you know. I think everything helped because nothing was a waste of time. I think every time you sit in front of someone and tell the story, you gain another person who supports your cause and can keep this on the agenda, think, pray, I don't know. So I think it helped. I can't say it solved the issue and made the deal approved, but I just feel that it's important to tell the story. This is the main thing.
3 and 8-year-olds. I mean, you can't even imagine Yahel and Aveh. And you said you haven't really seen them yet, but I'm sure you've heard. What are you hearing that they're saying? Because kids express things differently.
They're both amazing, and Nave is very, very open, hugs everyone immediately. Couple of minutes after he returned, he played soccer. They brought him a football and a shirt, and he just wore it and just played and enjoyed. And my mom got him an origami kit, so really was really excited about that. And Yahel, she takes her time. She's more, you know, she opens slowly, but then when she opens, you know, she laughs, you know, like a deep, good laugh. And, you know, as some other kids came back and told, I think today it got published in the press, some came back and they're all whispering because of the many reasons. They had to whisper over there. So Yahel is also talking quietly, but again, she's laughing very loudly, so that's good. You know, you feel the child in her that is still, you know, alongside the trauma, she's still just a little girl. Yeah, so they seem, alongside the work that has to be done, obviously, for them too, and everything they've saw and went through, they remain themselves, you know. And it's really heartwarming to know that. It gives you hope.
That's so important. That's so important. And right now, there are many questions. Will kibbutz Be'eri be rebuilt? Will the families move back? What will be the borderline? I'm sure many of these questions, I don't even know that you can answer them on behalf of your family or how the government will intervene.
Yeah, it's too soon, I think, to know. We're still amid the storm.
But one question really does come to mind because it was such a catastrophic day, October 7th. And in looking back, you going out and thinking about everything that's happened, how do you feel when you know you see the Israeli army and they're in a battle for the security of Israel. What goes through your mind in terms of the horrific things that were done by terrorists to your own family? And how do you come to terms with the safety in the future for not just your family, but for the whole state?
Currently, you talk about the Israeli military that are battling in Gaza. I think it's very important to say that us as a family and me as an individual, we hate to see suffering from anywhere. So seeing the pictures from Gaza and the death toll rises up, it's really devastating. And this is why I wish the war to be over as well, because every civilian deserves to live in safety and in peace and in a sense of security. Regarding what's been done to my family and the future, I think we focus now on saving whoever we can, saving Tal and the other hostages, all of them, and taking care of the people who came back, and make little gestures and do the memorials for the people who are no longer with us. Just today, we were the president of Israel. For the launch of Lilach's book that we published after her death for children who suffer from PTSD. So now this book is very relevant for every kid in Israel, basically. And it's amazing to see it in so many copies, and know it will be, in every home in Israel, probably. So we're busy with the living, we're busy with working, and the damage that has been done, obviously it's really hard to grasp that this is how my loved ones found their death, by a brutal massacre. It's not only that they died, they were murdered brutally, and the best people, for me, die this way. It's horrific to know that my handicapped uncle was probably shot brutally because he couldn't, walk or keep up. And knowing that someone saw someone else get murdered, it's something that, the last minutes of their lives, they're suffering and they're scared. And it's something that I think will take a lot of time to deal with. Regarding the future and the safety, the sense of safety, this is also too early to say, I think. I also have a dual citizenship. I have a German citizenship. So, we all have kind of a second home in Germany, because my grandfather came to there. So we'll see what happens after the hostages will be back, of course, because it's not over yet. We can't really allow ourselves to think about the future and reflect until all of them are home. So it's postponing those, thoughts and processes, because we have to continue and work.
Shira, thank you so much. I really wish you comfort and better days, and that Tal and everyone else that you love comes home.
Thank you.
And thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.